So we're here this morning with Mike Brockman, corporate executive chef for Woodstone Ovens.
That's a nice fancy title. Yeah, I'm actually the Eastern Regional Sales Manager for Woodstone. I work with all of our manufacturers reps in the Eastern Time Zone. But over the course of my history with the company, I've done just about everything there is to do with the company. As we discussed earlier, in the early days, we were all making the ovens and shipping the ovens and teaching people how to cook in them.
So how long's Woodstone been in the industry?
We incorporated in 1990.
Okay, good.
And I joined the team in 94. And throughout that time, the majority of my role has been helping operators be successful with the product.
Yeah, you definitely have a unique product. We're fortunate to have a Woodstone in our test kitchen here at Gerharz Equipment, which is awesome. You're fortunate. We're also fortunate to have you here. We did our pizza contest yesterday. That was an awesome event. We had a lot of fun with that. Just one of many events we'd like to have here in our test kitchen, featuring manufacturers and chefs and local restaurants, sort of showing their wares. So appreciate you coming out for that. I think it was a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
It's nice always to get a little extra training on the Woodstone. Like everyone thinks, they think Woodstone, they think pizza ovens, and it's just so much more. Tell me a little bit more about the product line. I was surprised. I've known about the rotisserie and the charbroiler and some gas, some solid fuel. Tell us a little bit more about what you guys do.
I'll give a brief history of our product development, and that is that we started making wood-fired ovens exclusively, and they were the round ovens. We still have that product line. It's our Mountain series.
Right.
Shortly after I joined the company, a little group called California Pizza Kitchen asked us if we would perhaps think about making a gas-fired unit, or at least adding a gas component to it.
Sure.
And so we really whipped on that R&D and got a nice gas-fired unit out, which we've continued to make some improvements to along the way. But so we have full gas operation, we have wood gas operation, or full wood operation. And the wood gas can be configured different ways. If you just want a thermostatically controlled floor in your wood-fired oven, you can do that. If you just want to burn a little wood for flavor, you can do that. Early on, we had customers in the Northwest that wanted us to design a very, visible and beautiful rotisserie. Mm-hmm. And so we did that. That was an early product for us as well, our Mount Olympus rotisserie, which is a 66 bird capacity unit with a big charbroiler on the front, all solid fuel. We've since expanded that product line as well. We have gas-fired rotisseries. We have vertical rotisseries so that you can...
And almost all your products are beautifully visually, and I've seen them in all kinds of operations where the customer can really see the product cooking. I think that really separates you from a lot of producers.
It does. A couple of our newer products are not as visual, but the one thing they have in common with the Woodstone line is that they go just an extra step above what anybody else has been willing to do. You can say ours will go to 11. You turn that knob to 11. Most of them stop at 10, and that's the same with our latest product that we are having a lot of success with right now, and that's our plancha.
Right.
You would look at it and say, it's a griddle, it's a flat top, but it goes to 650. You can control the zones between 150 and 650 and have these zones right next to each other. You can be doing a perfect over easy egg at 285 degrees and searing a steak at 6 1/4, and 6 inches away from it.
That's all gas-fired, thermostatically controlled?
Yeah, each zone, the one I'm talking about there is gas-fired. We also have an electric unit, which preceded the gas-fired unit and actually has a little higher temperature range.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of waiting in the wings as more of the world goes to electric.
And this was really geared more towards a lot of ethnic foods becoming more popular in the States, and chain restaurants really trying to put forth a little bit more bang for their buck kind of thing.
Hood space is so expensive.
Oh, absolutely.
And just operating costs of having a hood running, ventilation running, and space in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And so what our main customers with the plancha have found, and now we tout this every chance we get, is that they were able to reduce their cook line by a couple feet and still outproduce what they were using before
Sure.
because of the kind of heat delivery this thing gives.
Right.
It's like I said, it'll go to 11, but even if you're operating at a temperature that's in the mid-range, typical griddle temperature, say 400 degrees, the constant delivery of heat. It's a
Right.
zero recovery.
The
unit.
recovery, right? Yeah, the recovery is so important, especially when you're really trying to sear things well and really caramelize stuff, and kick it out at the same time when you're doing hundreds and hundreds of covers. And the reduction in hood space is huge. I mean, we talk about $2,500 a linear foot for hood space when you put a new hood ansel system, return air system in.
And that's just building it.
That's
maybe. Yeah.
right.
That's not to mention the operating costs.
Right, exactly. So, anything we can do to reduce that footprint, and, frankly, to reduce footprints for restaurant spaces in general. Overhead is that fixed cost you just can't ever get away from. So everything we can do, right, starting with the equipment, and as we build out, that's the way to go.
So back to the original point of the question was, a lot of our equipment is display equipment. It's front of the line equipment.
And amazingly beautiful, too.
Yeah, fire's nice. People like to look at fire. It's eye-catching. I'll tell you, when you bring a flaming dessert, or like we did yesterday, a flaming pizza out of the oven.
That was amazing.
It catches everybody's eye.
Sure.
It's a memorable experience. People see desserts being flambéed in the oven while they're dining. Mm-hmm. They want one. That's
right.
like a pre-order, automatically. I want one of those brought to my table. So, the plancha is not quite as visual, but what's happening with a lot of kitchens now is a demand for more versatility. You've heard of ghost kitchens,
Sure.
kind of behind-the-scenes kitchens. This plancha, ostensibly, a 4-zone plancha, you could be working a ghost kitchen for 4 different burger chains that all had a different heat need on the griddle surface for their burger, and zone by zone, each one would be cooking exactly to that restaurant's specs.
Right.
So it allows you to do so much more than if you just had one big, solid, even temperature plancha. You can run it that way.
Right.
But
yeah, it's pretty amazing. Beyond the plancha and the rotisserie, the pizza oven, you guys are pretty focused in what you do, but you still have a pretty large, a good breadth of line. And I love the intermingling between solid fuel, fired with gas, or a combination thereof. Charbroil is super impressive, just the way the things are put together, and perfect centerpieces for open kitchens. We've even put woodstone ovens in nursing homes and retirement communities and healthcare. Just, it changes the platform, and it's such a clean cooking method. No extra oil, but a high temperature.
Sure.
And as you demonstrated yesterday, just anything and everything you can cook inside the woodstone.
Sure.
Just the oven itself.
Well, color on food is flavor a lot of times, that either caramelization of the sugars or the proteins, and that's where you get the flavor.
Sure.
And if you can do it faster, you also retain more moisture to the food. So if that's your goal, to get a higher yield out of your food, and
Sure.
it's more delicious with the moisture, it's not a matter of this idea of sealing in the juices. That's sort of a fallacy that's been debunked. People like to say it, but it doesn't really happen. It's just a matter of time. You cook something at a lower temperature for longer, it's going to be drier.
Right. And what I love about the way the food industry is going is that we all want to do things faster, but really what we've gotten away from is fast but not good. We're getting back into fast but really good quality. So we're really dialing in the way things that are coming out of the oven are just amazing. So we're cooking things faster, which is great, but we're also still getting that perfect crust, or that perfect browning, or that great caramelization, things cooked nice on the outside but still al dente in the middle, not getting things dry. It's the speed, the searing in the juices, things of that nature. It's awesome.
Well, you mentioned hospitals, nursing homes,
Right.
And even just standard cook lines where they don't make pizza.
Right.
Hearth ovens have become kind of one of those standard items that a lot of people want. They're going to do some focaccias in there, but they're also roasting vegetables and things. Even if they're not doing a pizza, there's
Sure.
There's a steakhouse in Milwaukee that has 2 of our wood-fired ovens. They don't do any bread in it. It's all steaks. They're doing steel pans and doing all their steaks that way. there is a perception of you know, kind of a demand for a higher quality of pizza, and there's this perception that this hearth oven is the way to go. And
Right.
so how do you see this at a university now? They've got one, because the students, they want that quality of pizza. Now, are there still a lot of great pizzas being produced like the old way?
Absolutely,
the deck
yeah.
ovens, the conveyor
Certainly.
ovens? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's all designing your product for the method of cooking and for your clientele and for your production needs and all that. But what Woodstone's done is we've demystified the stone hearth oven. We've made them rectangular with a big wide door,
Sure.
wide open door. And through our support materials, our videos, and you know, we have a lot of training materials just online. Plus we have, you know, we've had as many as 5 corporate chefs before, and we're on the phone all the time. We're
Sure.
traveling around the country, helping people figure out how to incorporate that style of pizza into their operation, because you can't stand there and make pizzas and cut pizzas and serve people pizzas and restock and work the oven.
Right.
It's not like a conveyor oven.
Right.
You know, it
You
really
don't put
isn't.
it in one side and turn it out the other.
No.
And what's amazing is, if you mentioned your website. You have a beautiful website. I mean, the
thanks.
videos are awesome. The access training materials is awesome.
It's been upgraded recently, too.
Yeah, it really looks
Yeah.
nice. And I think, you know, that's one of the things in this industry. You like to talk about it and show people things, but if they don't have a great resource, it sort of falls by the wayside. So you guys have a wonderful, beautiful, and I encourage people to check it out as well, because what you don't understand is the form and finish. What an oven like this can contribute to your overall ambiance just from the way it looks. I mean, not only just, you know, watching your food cook and seeing things come out of the oven and, hey, what's in there, like the curiosity factor, things of that nature, but also just the you can put almost any sort of tile finish on the outside. You can decorate it in any sort of way. It can really lend to the overall ambiance and the style of your restaurant as well, which is huge.
There was a time where, and this was when the first wave of brew pubs was happening, and this was in the 90s when brew pubs were opening all over the place. We used to go to the National Brew Pub Conference and Trade Show every year.
Very cool.
And we would be the only restaurant equipment there cooking pizza at a brew pub show, so you can imagine our popularity. But there was a time when we were actually in 10% of the brew pubs in the U.S. because of
amazing.
what you're saying. You can make it look like a big copper vat or a stainless vat. You can match it, and the fire goes great with, you know, the big open showroom kind of breweries that you see in a lot of really, really great brew pubs. And we're happy to see this kind of second wave of brew pubs coming on. It had a bit of a lull where there was, I think, there was a lot of brewing equipment on the market.
There was, you
for a while
know,
there.
the market grew very, very quickly, and I think we're seeing some where there's a lot of saturation, and I think we're seeing some. It's shrinking a little bit, and the strong are surviving. And I think I would assume that the people that are doing things like having a little bit more showmanship in their tasting rooms and the food they're offering to go along with their beers, they're the ones that are surviving. And
it caught people's imagination, and the
Sure.
people who had a passion for brewing have risen to the top, and they're shining now. And that's one of the most critical little local industries that I've seen coming up. You know, I was impressed yesterday, having not really experienced the Syracuse pizza scene,
Right.
and hearing that there's sort of a Syracuse style of pizza. And what I experienced yesterday was there's just a passion for pizza in Syracuse. And we saw every kind of pizza imaginable, and they all cooked them in the Woodstone, which
is amazing.
You know, good on them for adapting. And I was trying to help them out a little, asking them what their ideal cook time and temperature was to try and set the oven for them. But what passion!
Yeah,
it's for pizza.
It's great to see in our area. I mean, we're a bit of a distance from New York City and sort of wedged right in the middle of the state. And I feel like we get some influence from Utica, we get some influence from the city. You know, it's sort of we get all kinds of different styles here in Syracuse. we have the West End cut, and we have some things that are pretty unique to us as well. I think we have some good Utica influence as well. And there's some up-and-comers that are really being super creative, and that's what I liked seeing yesterday, was the creativity. But what I also liked seeing was, the veterans in the business, the Mario and Salvo's, places like that were like, yeah, absolutely, my pizza will cook up amazing in this oven. They were, Mario was unfazed by the fact that it wasn't his big deck oven, and his pizza was amazing. And it just attests the fact that, you have good dough, you have good products, your process, you can cook it just about anywhere. But this just sort of took that product that was classic and just sort of elevated it, I think.
I thought it was interesting that most of the people competing at some point, no matter how old they were, had worked at Pavone's at some point. that was interesting. That's a real statement there.
Sure, absolutely. A lot of fun, and we go back to the. I just see application for this oven in so many places. Just even talking to you yesterday about cooking steaks in the oven and roasting whole birds, and from doing bread in the morning to having things come out in the afternoon to finishing desserts, things of that nature. It almost seems like, wow, can I do everything in this oven? I think you probably could.
There are restaurants that have done that, where that is truly their one piece of cooking equipment, and they have accessories. They make sure that things are ready to cook in the oven. You're not doing a lot of steps, because if everything's coming out of that oven, you need to be very organized.
Sure.
But yeah, it's you name it. You can cook it in there. In fact, even overnight operations. We came in this morning. I went to check on the oven because we're gonna cook up a few more pies for you guys at lunch today here.
I don't know if I can eat another piece of pizza, to be honest.
I'll tell you, I think I tasted 20 slices yesterday. I had to. That was a new experience for me. But no, you do overnight braises in there.
Oh, yeah.
You come in the next morning, and you've got 4 pork shoulders in this pan. They're perfect. You pull out the blade bones and give them a little stir, and you've got your pulled pork for the day.
Absolutely.
There are people doing whole animals overnight.
Wow. Very cool.
Goat, lamb.
I think the sky's the limit for sure.
Pigs.
Yeah, I was looking on the website. You've got a Tandoor oven as well, which is very cool. Like a floor model. I've never seen a floor model that wasn't like a built-in a brick.
Sure.
It's really cool.
We do a couple sizes. In fact, I'm heading down to the SUNY Broome campus tomorrow to be a guest speaker in one of their classes, because they just purchased one of our Tandoors.
Oh, very cool.
There. We're seeing that popularity increase in some of the higher-end grocery stores, as well as university campuses, as the dining halls get a little more interactive, and you can crank out a lot of food out of a Tandoor. It's an age-old cooking method.
Certainly.
It's like a ceramic burn barrel. Of course,
Certainly.
we've taken it to the next level of technology. Ours is not solid fuel; it's gas.
Right.
But it's still manually controlled, and you're still reaching your arm in that and sticking the naan bread on the wall.
Yeah, people should check out the video online.
It's a great
pretty cool.
show.
Yeah. We had one of our long-term customers was talking about just has always operated sort of an open kitchen, and one of his themes about when he was always choosing equipment for his kitchen, like he wanted the equipment to show off the skill level that his cooks and chefs actually had in the restaurant. And people were moving to things, to cook things faster and do things more streamlined. But I think that any piece of equipment that you can have where you can really show off the talent of your staff and sort of separates you from more of a pre-done or pre-canned product and can show the level of cooking ability. And I think that this does this as well. And I think we're, certainly coming through the pandemic, we've seen some changes and things like that. I think the people that are really highlighting their skill level, plus putting out a product fast and efficiently, and adding to the entertainment value when you can, I think those restaurants are really going to separate themselves moving forward. Have you seen a lot of that? What do you see
all along the way? Yeah. Absolutely. Just the fact that someone's running one of our ovens and they've got a 5-foot-long peel and they're masterfully spitting the pizzas, and there's some interaction there. It's not the same. I mean, if you're in a stadium and you're getting a piece of pizza,
Sure.
it's coming out of a conveyor oven for the most part. Or,
Absolutely.
You know, the hot
and there's
dogs
a
are
place
coming
for
off
that
of
for
some-
sure. And you can do some phenomenal pieces in equipment like that. Absolutely.
But it just shows that they're invested in it, and
Right.
that operator is cooking every single pizza that's coming
Right.
out of that oven. And same with the Tandoor. People are fascinated by it. I've done some. We've done a lot of conferences with the Culinary Institute of America,
Right.
And we have a Tandoor down in San Antonio at one of their newest campuses, and they have a Latin flavors conference there every year. Well, one year it was Caribbean flavors, and we did Puerto Rican pinchos out of the Tandoor.
Yeah.
You know, skewered meats are skewered meats. You can cook them in a Tandoor.
Sure.
So the Tandoor is not limited just to Indian food.
Sure.
You can cook any kind of
Yeah,
food.
I think
in
once a chef gets a handle on a new cooking process like that, or a piece of equipment that cooks in a more artisanal way, sky's the limit. Like you find out, oh wow, I can do this in there. I can apply it to this.
Well, that's what makes
It's
it
just
exciting.
amazing.
That's
and
what
exciting.
makes this menu development exciting,
Right.
and is people learning the rules and then knowing how to bend them and knowing how to break them,
Sure.
and shatter them in some cases, and come up with whole new wonderful things that people who are fixated on adhering to the rules won't do. We had a fantastic pizza yesterday with French fries on it. We had a fantastic pizza with red eye gravy and pulled pork and
Yeah.
cheese curds on it.
Yeah.
There are no rules
There aren't
except
any,
for those
right.
which you're going to impose on yourself.
Exactly.
You need to know the rules before you can break them.
Sure.
I think effectively.
Right.
But I like the people who are pushing the boundaries in that respect.
Absolutely. And you were talking a little bit yesterday. So you guys have some residential line as well. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we there was a long time where we were installing some ovens in chefs' homes. People who were using our ovens in their restaurants, and they're like, "Hey, can I get one for my
Can I get one
house?"
for home? Yeah.
And so, so that was originally the way it was going. But there are some pretty strict rules on residential versus commercial equipment, and so we went ahead and designed a line of ovens for installation in residential situations, and they're smaller.
Right.
They're a little more. I don't want to say foolproof. They're a little more automatic.
Okay.
They even have timers that'll turn them on at 3 p.m, so it's ready to go for you. So yeah, especially in the last 7 or 8 months with the pandemic,
Yeah,
and
I
people
imagine.
cooking at home and fortifying their homes a little, and their
Right.
their home kitchens, and trying to get more out of their backyard kitchens.
Sure.
We are selling some residential ovens.
That's great.
For sure.
And you can do them outside too, like on the
Yeah,
patio.
absolutely. Indoor or
Indoor,
outdoor.
yeah. Pretty amazing.
You know, our if we know an oven's going outside, we go ahead and put a waterproof top on it, rain
Gotcha.
cap, just so there's no infiltration of water. But most people who put them outside, they're putting it under some sort of a covered kitchen
Right.
anyway.
Patio type scenario, right?
And there are all sorts of cool little stone hearth ovens on the market.
Sure.
Tabletop units, the little super high temperature. If somebody's looking to do true Neapolitan, 70 to 90 second pizza,
Sure.
which is hard to pull off well, I got to tell you. And
Right.
so it's a real quest for a home cook to nail that, and it might take years, but it's certainly a worthy quest.
Oh, yeah.
But pizza.
Yeah.
We've proven
And a great
in the
right.
last 20 years there are no rules.
No,
for
none at
pizza.
all. Yeah.
I mean, one of our early supporters, Wolfgang Puck
Mm-hmm.
and California Pizza Kitchens, both those companies, they've proven that you can put anything on a pizza, and as long as the combination makes sense.
Sure.
You can't. I'm sure there were some flops along the way.
Absolutely.
But just some
Every
dynamite
chef
combinations.
has trial and error, and it's one of the things where I just more and more every time I see it, we use the oven or we interact with it, I want to cook other things in there. Like I want to apply something else in there just to make it, just not pizza, but roasting chickens and roasting whole meats and roasts and things of that nature, and doing
Yeah.
some slow cooking.
Desserts.
Yeah.
Desserts are fantastic.
Yep.
It's a perfect environment for doing like the molten chocolate cakes.
Oh, yeah.
Or even, I don't know how familiar people are with the the Dutch baby or the German pancake. It's kind of some combination between a souffle and a Yorkshire pudding and French toast, for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, flavor-wise, and then you can go savory or sweet with that. But you can get these things so hot that anything you cook in there, you really get a lot of spring.
Yeah, so that'd be great for a souffle. Watch them pop right out of the container.
Absolutely.
You can see it from the dining room. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we love having you here at Gerharz. We can't wait to have you again. Looking forward to lunch today.
Oh, me too. I mean, I'm so impressed with your facility and the connection to the community you have here is just fantastic.
Yeah, we love it.
You can feel it right when you walk in the door.
Yeah, that's what this place was sort of built for.
Yeah.
We want the chefs and the area restaurants and the community to be involved, and what we love about you guys too is we get awesome support and training from you guys. And that's what we really want from our manufacturers that we partner with. We have a great kitchen here. We want to fill it with great equipment. We want to have great relationships and great training from our reps and our manufacturers. And, it's been a great partnership. We appreciate it.
Our success as a company has been all through feedback from people like you, companies like yours, from restaurant equipment consultants, from chefs. And they're taking their feedback, if they're smart, from their customers. So It's ultimately, we're bending to the will of what people want. We'll make the next thing. We just happen to be reaching back into the Stone Age at sometimes, for our start. But there's some technologies, storing heat never goes out of style.
Absolutely not. And if you can do it efficiently, that's the way to do it. All right. Thanks, Mike. We really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure.